Hello everybody, welcome to another Barb Stamps video. Barb Mulligan here from Sheridan, Wyoming, and I am super excited to be talking to you today about my new Create Where You Are class to go for January 2022. Now I'm going to be using the Artfully Composed bundle and suite of products from the brand new January to June mini catalog. You can find this suite of products on pages 32, 33, and I think maybe 34. Yep, of this publication. And as you can see, the designer series paper in this collection is absolutely amazing. That is what drew me to wanting to use this collection in a class, was this designer series paper. Now, the stamp set and the dies and the ribbon and the vellum and all the other things are also amazing, and I am so happy and excited to be able to share this class with you guys. So the class itself is 8 cards, and there's 2 each of 4 different designs. So in the kit that you receive from me, you will receive all the pre-cut cardstock pieces to create those 8 cards. You will also receive envelopes for the cards, and the shipping is also included. Now, the cost of the kit is $45. If you would like to add the bundle, which is the stamp set and the dies, the Tropical Layers die set and the Artfully Layered stamp set. Here is the dies. You can do so for an additional $66.25, making the kit plus the bundle $111.25. If you only want the cardstock / supply kit, which I'll get into the supply part of the kit here in just a second, you can choose that for $45. And I always have links to my classes in the descriptions of my videos. So the Artfully Layered stamp set is a set of 8 cling mount stamps. And there's a lot of really fun images here. We've got 2, 3, well, I guess we've got 2 images that actually coordinate with dies. And then we've got another little image here that doesn't necessarily coordinate with the die, but has a similar die that you can use these things together. So you can see we have the 2 images here that you can stamp and crop. And then we also have just standalone images. We have this kind of fern looking piece. We have this fun open leaf, this open leaf, and then we also have some dies that kind of put an imprint, an impression, or they basically cut the cardstock, but it almost looks like it's embossed. So we have 2 different dies for that, and then we have this fun edge die that's actually quite long. So you can do an entire card, the front of a card. Let's just measure this. This actually measures, look at that, a whopping over 6.5 inches, almost 6 3/4. So you can do a 6x6 scrapbook page with this. You can do standard cards. It's a great size for what we need to use it for. So this is just a sample of what you get. One side has this nice stitching. The other side, when you cut it, just gives you kind of the zigzag rick-rack pattern. So those are the dies and the stamp set. And those are the optional add-on items. If you want to add that bundle on, you certainly can. When you get your kit from me, you will get your cardstock kit, which I don't have that here for you, but it's all the pieces you need to create the 8 cards, the card bases, the layers, any pieces of cardstock that you need to die cut with, inside pieces, all that stuff is included, and the 8 envelopes. So the rest of the kit is going to be a mini paper pumpkin box, and a set of 4 note cards and envelopes, because one of the projects in the class, in addition to the 8 cards this month, is going to be a boxed set of cards. So you can keep this for yourself. You can give it as a gift. You can use the box for something else. You can keep the cards, whatever you want to do. But that's like an additional thing that we're going to be doing in the class. You also will receive a half a package of that amazing designer series paper that we just talked about, and I forgot what it's called already. Artfully Composed. This is one of my designer series paper charts. I like to create these every time we have a new catalog because it makes it lots easier for me to design when I can see the patterns of the paper along with the coordinating pieces of cardstock. So that's really a nice thing. So here's the paper. You're going to get a half a pack. So you're going to get all the page, all the pieces, all cut to 6x6. Okay. You're also going to receive 6 pieces of the layering vellum, which is 6 different designs here. Some are white, some are kind of, I think it's basic gray. It doesn't necessarily look black to me, but it very well could be. So you're going to get 6 pieces of the vellum. You're going to get a half a pack of the champagne rhinestones and a half a pack of the faux sea glass elements. You're also going to get a 1/4 roll of our Just Jade gold ribbon, our white frayed ribbon, our pale papaya woven ribbon, and then our Evening Evergreen chevron ribbon. So you're going to get 4 ribbons, 2 embellishments, vellum pieces, designer series paper, a paper pumpkin box, and 4 note cards and envelopes. Now, the card that I'm going to create for you today is one of the cards that I'm going to have in the class. So you will get the supplies to make 2 of those. And you will also get supplies to make 6 more cards. Plus, we're going to do the box set. So what you're going to receive from me is your kit. Then I will email you the instructions, which are photographs, written instructions, and links to videos for all of the projects in the class. So it's a tremendous value at $45. All right, let me go ahead and get the supplies for this, and we'll be back with the card. All right, here we are with the supplies for the card. So we've got one of our envelopes, and I have cut one of the pieces of the designer series paper to 2.5 by 6. I'm going to use that to decorate the envelope. I have a 3x3 piece of mint macaron that we are going to be stamping on. I've got a 3x4.5 piece of the same pattern of the DSP. And I'm going to be layering that onto a 3.25 by 4.75 inch piece of Evening Evergreen. You can see how gorgeous the Evening Evergreen coordinates with this particular pattern. We've got a layer of what for the inside of the card, which is 4 by 5.25. A layer of Just Jade for the outside, 4 by 5.25. And then our card base, you will also receive in your kit a couple of pieces of Bumblebee cardstock so that you can die cut both of these images from that. And then you will use your vellum to die cut this piece from the vellum. Now, you'll notice that I don't have the stem on this. So when I cut a piece out of this pattern of the vellum, I kind of laid my die on there, but I didn't need the bottom of it. So I could save myself some space on my vellum piece by not cutting off the stem. So that's why there's no stem on this particular piece here. So you're going to need that cut out of the vellum, and you can choose whatever piece of vellum that you would like to use. It's your card, so you can do whatever you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to do a little stamping on this layer here and some stamping on this layer here. So I'm going to take one of the sentiments from the stamp set, and this is called Sending All the, or this says Sending All the Hugs. And I'm going to stamp this on this in the center of my mint macaron layer. And I'm going to allow this to dry before I do the next step with this piece. So I'm just going to set it aside, and I'm going to work on this piece a little bit. So I need to do a little bit of random stamping along the edge of this piece. And I'm going to use Versamark for this because when I tried using the Just Jade, it was a little bit too dark, a little darker than I actually wanted it to be. So I'm just going to tap my stamp into the Just Jade a few times, and I'm just going to kind of sort of randomly, I'm going to switch my stamp around, like rotate it each time I put it to the paper, rotate it a quarter turn, so that the leaves don't all look the same. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do on that piece there. I am going to now bring in this detailed leaf, and I'm going to stamp it over the top of my sentiment here. So I'm going to ink this up, and when I use Versamark, my theory on Versamark is if you're doing embossing, you can really never have too much Versamark ink on your pad. So I like to over ink rather than under ink. So I will ink it up until I think I have enough ink on this, and then I'm going to ink it up some more. Okay, so now I need to figure out where I'm going to put this. Now this leaf should cover this whole sentiment if I am just kind of careful about it here. So I'm just kind of making sure I can't see the sentiment as I'm bringing the leaf down on top of it. Cover this with some clear embossing powder. And remember that the links to purchase this class is in the description of this video. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my heat tool here, and we're going to heat set this. And this is kind of loud, so I'm going to speed up the video and turn the volume down a little bit. All right, so my powder actually did stick on my words a little bit, so it looks fantastic. This one, I've already got one done that I did earlier. This one, the words did not get embossed, and this one they did. So I kind of like the one where the words are embossed a little bit better. So let me go ahead and take this to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and run it through with the coordinating die, and I'll be right back. All right, here it is. We're going to go ahead and use this piece. So I can close up my ink pad here and move my stamps out of the way, put my embossing powder away, and now it's just a matter of layering everything together. All right, so I'm going to start with the inside layer, and I've got this fun leaf here, so I'm going to add some adhesive. If you are a fan of our adhesive sheets, which I am a fan of our adhesive sheets, but I honestly never remember to use them. I should. It would make this process a little faster. I am pretty good with the liquid glue, so it's not a big deal for me to have to put liquid glue around the entire thing. The trick to using the liquid glue on these detailed pieces is to not put very much glue. You can see that I don't have hardly any glue on there at all. Now I'm going to set this on my inside layer, and I'm going to have it kind of slightly off the edge, and then I'm going to trim that off. I seem to like things that look a little more randomly placed. I like that a lot better. It's easier to do that than it is to have something be perfect on there. And the randomness of it just always looks a little bit better to me. So, all right, let me go ahead and add this to the inside of my card. I'm going to use some seal adhesive here. And then when I put it on the inside of my card, I like to put it on the upside down, because I'm a right-handed person, and this way my left hand doesn't get in the way while I'm trying to line this up. And when I line up insides of my cards, I only try to line up 3 sides: the top, the bottom, and then the outside edge, because if the inside edge is not lined up, no one's going to be able to tell. But if any of these 3 are not lined up right, you will be able to tell. Okay, so then we can go ahead and add this layer, and you can see I used a scrap here. I am all about using up my scraps, so I do save certain sizes of things. I don't save everything, but I do like to use my scraps if I can, because why not? Okay, these pieces we're going to layer together. Look at that fantastic pattern on the back of this. I just love this paper so much. All right, so we're going to center this on the evening evergreen layer. Whoops. Touched down before I was actually ready for it, so let's pull that off gently. I find with seal that if you're careful with it, you know, if you stick it down and it's not exactly where you want it, if you kind of gently, carefully pull it up, it doesn't stick right away, and then you have a little bit of time. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in the Just Jade and gold ribbon, and I'm going to tie this around this layer into a knot, but I'm not very good at that, so I always like to use the cheater's way. I call it the cheater's way, where I bring in a bottle, some kind of a bottle. Whoops, not this one. This is too big. I'm going to use my Stays-On cleaner bottle, and I'm just going to tie my knot around this. And that way, when I go to add it to my card, I will be able to make it nice and tight on there, and that will work out great. So that's what I normally do. I tie a knot around a bottle. I already have one done. So here it is right here. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to my card. So what I would like to do is I like to find out, where do I want my knot to be? So my knot is going to be about right there. So then I kind of pull the loop away and cut it off so that I have enough room, enough excess here to attach it to the back of the layer. So then I'm going to use some Scotch tape, because that's just how I roll. I like using Scotch tape. And then I'll fold this piece over and tape this down. And then you can see what I'm talking about. It's nice and tight. Everything is perfect, and I don't have to cry. So then I'm going to end up putting this on the front here, but I first want to bring in my layering pieces and figure out where I want them. So of course I want my sentiment to be kind of the focal point here, but then I did want to add a few funness, a little bit of funness. Is that even a word? I'm not sure. A little bit of fun behind this piece. So you can see there are some bumblebee, some little pieces of bumblebee in the background. And then the vellum, I think, just adds a really cool dimension to the whole thing. So we're going to kind of put those together and then decide where we want this whole thing to go. And I think that's fine. So rather than like gluing this whole thing down, I'm just going to use some tape and tape it on the back here. And that should work out pretty good. Kind of scooch this up just a little bit to get my piece of tape on there, and there we have it. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to adhere this to the card itself. So I'm going to bring in, probably 3, since this leaf is kind of like a triangle. We'll go with 3. And again, we'll kind of lift up the ribbon, figure out where we want it to be. There we go. And then we can add this layer. Now you can use dimensionals or just regular glue. I'm going to go ahead and use dimensionals again. I'm going to bring in what I call my kind of crappy scissors. Not that these are super good. These are my good ones. They have a nice silver Sharpied asterisk on there. This is the ones that I use for ribbon. The ones with the gold star can be used for paper. And then the ones with the copper star can be, they're kind of in the middle. So we have, what I call, good, better, best. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I do have multiple pairs of scissors depending on what I'm doing. Because you notice if you use your ribbon scissors on paper, they can become a lot more dull a lot more quickly. Paper will definitely dull your scissors quicker. So I try to have multiple pairs of scissors. Okay, so we're going to add this just a slight bit back from the side edge and then try to do it evenly from the top and the bottom. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And for the last thing, I'm going to bring in my faux sea glass shapes. I'm just going to kind of randomly put a few on here. So let's try this little guy, maybe down here on that. And maybe the next size we can add over, where do I want them? Maybe up here. And then the larger one, maybe like that. So they're not totally noticeable, but they do add a bit of texture, which I think is a lot of fun. All right, and then finally, we would add our envelope flap to our envelope. And again, I'm going to use liquid glue, and I'm using a very, very skinny bead of glue. You'll notice there's not very much glue coming out of my bottle. That is the trick to using liquid glue, guys, not using a ton. All right, so I'm going to orient my paper correctly. And we're going to glue that down, and then all I have to do is take my scissors and run around the edge of this and get the excess Designer Series paper off. All right, there you have it. How much fun is that? Now, again, don't forget to give my video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, which I hope you have. Subscribe to my channel right down here in the corner. Share it, like it, leave comments. I love interacting with you guys. It just makes me so happy that you watch my videos. Watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff helps me out tremendously. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me to continue to provide all this free content for you guys on YouTube. And again, then I do have classes for sale, and you can find the links to those in the description of this video. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.